There you go. Happy Friday to you. I'm Bruce St. James. She's Pamela Hughes. He's Rob Hunter. And here are the stories everyone's talking about. We call it the playlist.
Track 1.
Could a deal have been reached? President Obama is expected to announce today some special, let's call them accommodations for contraceptives for religious organizations and their health care plans. It's been the talk going around D.C. this week because there's been a little bit of blowback on both sides of the aisle. Religious organizations and, well, quite honestly, a bunch of politicians who rely on the votes of certain religious groups were outraged. The new health care bill was going to require them to give out free birth control. But the move won't please all of the bishops and church leaders. The goal still remains having birth control fully covered by their insurance plans.
And you know, there is somewhat of a compromise going on here, and this isn't something we hear about going in D.C. all that often.
I don't like to say this group has more freedom than this group or this company and that company. I'm just not a fan of it. If Catholic churches get exemptions, everybody should get exemptions. That's the way I feel. You know what? Maybe I'm weird, maybe I'm wrong, but hey, I'm standing by that.
Track 2.
All right, chances are by now you've already heard about that $25 billion mortgage settlement. Yeah, it's going to help people struggling with their mortgages. So, we're all struggling with mortgages. What's it mean to you?
Right.
You're probably not going to know for a little while. Because next month or two, it might take up to 60 days to appoint someone to actually oversee this entire program.
Create an agency for it.
Of
sounds
course
like
they
government,
do.
Doesn't it?
Then it's going to take 6 to 9 months for the eligible homeowners to find out if, to be identified, and they're going to be notified by mail.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, loans by government-owned Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, not eligible.
Which is responsible for like half the loans.
Over half.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Here's another example. It's like the Catholic Church. The government always gets exemptions from every rule. Even though they were as bad as the banks and handing out mortgages, nothing touches them. This is the thing that drives me nuts about this country.
The more I see this program, that while the number 26 billion might sound like a lot, you'd have to actually add a few zeros to it to actually impact what is going on out there. This is worse than a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. It is actually not going to help homeowners stay in their homes.
Track 3.
So the school in Los Angeles has been a lot of under investigation, is now back open.
Oh, really?
In LA. They opened yesterday, but only 68% of students actually showed up. Now, you might remember the entire staff was let go. This came after 2 teachers were charged with sexual misconduct. One of those teachers facing 23 felony accounts of lewd acts. And those acts are lewd, man. Like, I don't know if you read about them. Oh, nasty. Several of the students and parents, though, are fighting for those teachers that they actually liked to come back to the school because they fired everybody, from the teachers to the janitors to the principal. They shut down the school, fired everybody, reopened it with a brand new staff.
Well, you know what? I don't think it's out of line to say we wonder, did anybody else know things were going on? It's kind of like Penn State where people look in the other direction. I mean, if this was going on to this level and over this amount of time, nobody thought to say anything?
Right.
That's my worry about it.
The challenge for the school right now is you're darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, people are going to be upset if you do too little because children are put in jeopardy, or they're going to be upset because you did too much by putting all the teachers on leave while you investigate everything. It's a catch-22. You can't make everybody happy. I kind of credit the district for kind of going maybe a little too far in order to protect children.
Got it.
Track 4.
Well, the Department of Defense says it's going to help out the Border Patrol and give them additional resources, right? The border parts of our state and that of New Mexico are going to see additional personnel, vehicles, and more equipment starting just in a couple of weeks. That's good news, right?
Yeah.
Well, Pinal County Sheriff Paul Babiou, who is also running for Congress, says this is nothing more than election year politics. He said the plans call for 6,000 National Guard troops. And listen, why can't you just be happy that they might be doing something along the border?
That's kind of where I'm here. It's glass, half empty or half full. How do you want to look at it there? He wants the 6,000 National Guard troops on the border. That's what he has decided that they need. I'm like, come on, is it ever going to be good enough?
This is all about drugs at this point in time. Our economy's bad. Illegal immigrants are still coming here, but not coming here in the numbers that we're used to seeing back in 2007. So this is something we're never going to win. We could put the entire United States military on the border. Drugs would still get into this country because there's a huge profit margin in them. Maybe we need to think of other ways to handle this problem other than politically expedient fixes.
Track 5.
All right, when it comes to shopping, where do you like to go?
Nowhere.
All right?
Online.
Go online, right? Amazon.com, right?
Safeway.
Well, Consumer Reports just came out with a survey of about 26,000 customers.
Okay.
They found that Costco does a better job than any other major store. Gonna do a Costco run? Yeah. People like the quality of things they bought there as well as what they paid for it.
That sounds reasonable.
Macy's, JCPenney's, Kohl's also near the top. Now, the biggest complaint at stores were slow checkout lines, poor service, and that the items that they wanted were out of stock.
Yeah, and that seems to happen from time to time. It is what it is, just part of shopping. And that's why a lot of these places, as we were talking about the other day, have these kiosks where, hey, if we don't have it in stock, don't have it in your size, order it from our little kiosk. We'll ship it to your house. It'll be there in 2 days.
I find it amazing, and so I try not to make rash generalizations. Like, if I run into one employee who's having a bad day, I don't think all Nordstroms suck. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I won't make that generalization. I realize that on any given day, something may go wrong in a store. I try to judge them on a little broader scale than just the last 5 minutes.
So a good idea.
I'm alone in this.
Track 6.
So if you're writing a cover letter to try to get a job, probably write in it, how humble you are, hardworking.
Business
like that,
professional
right?
style.
Sure, exactly.
Sure, why not?
Would you tell someone how much you could bench press?
What?
What am I applying for?
Exactly.
How about his number of pull-ups you could do? Well, one recent NYU
Zero.
student did just that. He wrote in his letter. It's all over the internet. You can
Okay.
read the entire thing if you want.
Oh, I need to see it.
Yeah, the unnamed student was applying not to work at a gym to be a
I was
personal
going to say,
trainer.
it'd be
He was
important.
trying to work in a mortgage bank and trying to work for J.P. Morgan or Bank of America's Merrill Lynch arm.
Pull-ups and bench presses?
Yeah, probably not the best approach. So the Bank of America team, they sent it out to everybody and said, this is what not to do.
This is an example of one of these kids, like they were told to accentuate your positives, and he's really not that good at school. But have you seen how I can flex? I'm putting that on the internet.
I work out.
Putting it down. Accentuate the positives.
Sometimes it's funny to see what people put on their applications or cover letters. I once got an application, when are you available? They said, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Are you serious?
All right.
I'm available whenever you need me.
That
baby
is
doll.
the playlist. That is it. We run it down for you. 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30. These are the stories that people are talking about today. We appreciate you joining us for this version of the playlist.